Well, hello everyone. It's really good to be with you all today. And if you don't know or you haven't heard, I am still stuck in Paris. And hence a voila. I thought since I am abroad in the city of love and light, I could maybe use some of Paris as an aesthetic for our focus and reading for today. The lyric today from the hymn we've been using as a focus and series is Where All God's Children Dare to Seek. Listen now to Samuel chapter 3, verse 1 through verse 9. Now the boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord under Eli, and the word of the Lord was rare in those days. Visions were not widespread. At that time, Eli, whose eyesight had begun to grow dim so that he could not see, was lying down in his room. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called Samuel. Samuel, Samuel. And he said, Here I am, and ran to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. But he said, Eli, I did not call, lie down again. So Samuel went and lay down. The Lord called again, Samuel. Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. But Eli said, I did not call, my son. Lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, and the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. The Lord called Samuel again, a third time, and he got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called. Then Eli perceived that the Lord was calling the boy. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go, lie down, and if the Lord calls you, you shall say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. It's late into the night, and Sam won't go to sleep. Granddad Eli's too old and too tired to entertain the small tugging of hands at the hem of Eli's nightgown. And it could be those video games, yes, or his mother's traits. Remember, the kid is not Eli's blood son. Sam, born out of a broken-hearted prayer from his mother, Hannah. Hannah, who, fearing infertility, begged God to give her a son she would give back to the house of the Lord. Sam, who likes to wear linen, wear his mother's robes too, gifts brought to him every year. Sam, chosen family, dedicated like baptism to the community, taken into the house of the Lord like family to Eli. Sam who tugs and won't keep quiet. And what does Eli know? Maybe it's some game or another hormonal mood swing surprise, along with the newfound hair, new trends, something Sam and his friends had decided would be a funny joke. And what does Eli know? This kid who will grow up to be a prophet, a judge, a military leader, a seer, a priest, and who refuses to sleep. Who would dare believe the night stirs prophecy in the very hours when hearing the voice of God is rare, but children dare to seek wonder? Some backstory. The nation is a mess. And women throughout the book of Judges have been central to the evidence of its messiness, its violence. Somehow, amidst it all, the people of God find their feet in the promised land, making the messy messier. So it is. The story of prophecy begins with a woman's blues. Hannah's voice. Hannah and her voice seeking God causes Eli to seek Hannah, causes Eli to pay attention to Hannah's brokenhearted song begging for a son. Ha! A son. Good luck. In this world, Eli, who accuses Hannah of being drunk, telling Hannah there will be a child, though. This very child, tugging and bugging Eli in the night, is Hannah's child. Hannah's child she has dedicated to the house of the Lord, and Eli's taken in as chosen family. Sam, too woke to go back to sleep, asking Eli why Eli, called by Samuel, called by God. Samuel being called by name. And we can hear this story this way, and as we should. Samuel thrice mistook God's voice for Eli's voice. Sam, son, confusing father with father. And Eli, who helped Samuel realize it was God, in fact, who was calling Samuel. Eli, who advised little Samuel to answer. Little Sam, who doesn't object, doesn't resist, returns to his resting place in God's house. Samuel, who needs a mentor to show him legacy. Samuel, who has a mentor who gives direction without simple answers, but invites Samuel to pose God a question. And I like that. I like that. Eli, who invites the child, even, into questioning what they've heard of God, from God. And I like that there's a relationship between Eli and Samuel developed over time and intentionality, that Eli knows and feels comfortable with Eli, and Samuel knows and feels comfortable going to Eli. A teen knowing it's okay to seek advice from an elder, a mentor. And also that as a child, this youth in the house of the Lord knows they can announce who they are, that God is speaking to them as they are. And they know they won't be finger-waving lessened or shunned or filed away into a later board discussion. Just like that, here am I, me, expressing all of me. Samuel, who is a child of God, hearing a call on his life, how God's call into service comes to us at all different times, different stages, and often as an utter disruption or disruptions into the order of things. And this is why we can also maybe hear it this way too. That because the nation is a mess, and the voice of God is rare these days, it matters the order is wrong. That it is Samuel who is hearing from God and not Eli. God who elaborates to Samuel about Eli's legacy, Eli's story, Eli's son's future. Samuel who learns of the broken heart of Eli. And it's not a competition of who is hearing from God and who is not, but it is certainly significant to consider if this is also about Eli the priest, Eli the adult, learning how to hear the voice of God again, needing newly confirmed, dare I say unconfirmed, dare I say the child without credentials, to receive a vision of the world and from God. The next morning, by the way, Eli will ask Samuel, what did God say? And what a wonderful image this is. An elder asking a new member teen what to do, what they heard. Eli seeking the child, seeking God, seeking the child, seeking Eli. One more time. In the morning, Eli seeks the child who sought God, who sought the child, who sought Eli, who is now seeking the voice of God. Eli trusting that the voice of God can come through a son, a child's call and response, a child's interpretation. And what would it look like if we also read the story this way, the other way around? That it is Eli who needs his rest, yes, but who desperately needs to seek a child ready to bring forth God's voice, God's interpretation of the world, a vision of God even. That God is restless in the night, up, wanting to play, wanting to say something about the world as it is and as it can become. God who dares to seek the child first in the middle of the night is God calling Eli back to seek the child within himself, the child who dares to seek wonder. Samuel, like the moon, pulling Eli back into wonder in a world where the ritual of brokenheartedness, like duty, can often rarefy the voice of God still speaking. Samuel giving voice to Eli's own broken heart again. As a parent, Eli, as a parent of two sons, two blood sons who'd been, let's say, raised in the pews, who know the lines to sing, know the songs to sing, but whose behavior moved so staunchly against the holy rituals, one could almost excuse Eli's bitter commentary given before to Hannah and all those who've dreamed about bearing children into this broken world, considering them to be drunk. And why, as Eli meets God's voice in that kid, Sam, it feels like it's the second time Eli meets God's voice through Hannah's blues. Eli, who maybe remembers his own call through the voice of God in child flesh. Church, it's the hour of restlessness, our hour, the time between reality and dream, political transition, laws being sworn in, collective ache and angst, when teens are woke and have a hard time resting, when the voice of God feels rare because the nation sings songs of barren promises. But God is here. God is mother beating her chest. God is mentor inviting us to pose our questions. God is child awake into the late night hours, playful and restless, refusing to go to sleep, thinking about our future and all that can be, will be, who dares to tug at our names, saying, "Here am I, still burning in the night at your bedside, still seeking you, still coming for the child, and the child within seeking wonder, if we dare." If we dare. Friends, I imagine we have a few minutes to be still and make sense with our reading. Certainly the background of our story, as it is with many of our readings, is the question, where is the voice of God, or who is acting as the voice of God? And often the answer is multiple and in surprising ways. I think it's appropriate at this point that we just we sit still and silent, and we pay attention to our bodies, to the sounds around us, to the breathing around us, even memories that flood in from the day, from the week. And we listen and we listen and we pay attention to God still speaking. And when we're ready, we might softly say back, "Here am I. Your servant is listening."